and my graduation project. I called a life project because it wasn't only a topic for my thesis, but a journey and a continuous effort that I'm still working on. When I was a kid living in Finland, it was safe to reach the library without any problems, such as the long distance or dangerous roads. I used to go to this one long time ago. When I moved back to Jordan, I've noticed that libraries are too far from neighborhoods, and it's too hard to reach even for adults. In most cases, they need a car to reach, besides other general issues as the changing concept of libraries throughout history and the stereotype of the library as being a boring closed space. Therefore, there are some important points that modern libraries should take into consideration as interactivity and flexibility within the project. The project is also adaptive, which means it tries to solve the problem not only in Jordan, but in other MENA region countries as well, Middle East and North Africa. Greenery is vital, and the site has not many green areas, so that should be on the top of the list. One of the issues, as well as mentioned before, is the stereotype of libraries being a boring and closed space and not available to all. I started to study all libraries' locations in the capital of Jordan, Amman, and made a map showing areas that have one or more libraries or areas that don't have it at all. Then I have put all these areas in circles based on number of libraries, area, number of residents. At the end, the site that needed libraries the most has chosen, and the location of the library will not be farther than 15 to 20 minutes walking from neighborhoods, which is the distance that the average person can walk without taking a rest. The site is located in the middle of a residential area, as seen here. The philosophy behind the work is that fundamental functions should be accessed easily, and one of the most important functions is the library, so all people should reach without finding any problems. I started with a grade 5x5, dividing the project into socio-cultural and staff premises, and having common areas in the middle. The core started to appear in the middle, linking all the functions together. Natural ventilation was an important part of the project, so additional grid was used to create paths beside their role to bridge the gap between the community and the cultural activities. Different layouts of the core floors were created after intersecting the two grids, divided into two main spaces, open and closed ones. And in order to make the project active 24 hours, varied activities were designed and linked to other parts of the project. These activities were created for all ages. And this is the final massing image, and on the right we can see the vertical circulation. The definition of the project came from its two parts, the practical and the theoretical ones, which is the public library and the cultural research center, and EpiCentre emerged from the extreme use of sustainable principles of the design. Sustainable core of the project is the most important part of it, since it represents the journey that people will experience when visiting the project, making it active 24 hours. When moving up, the nose becomes less increasingly, and it's also divided into open and closed spaces. This is a top view of the project, and here we can see the location of the core. The definition of the library has changed throughout history, and to make it more engaging and community-oriented space, the circulation and spaces inside and outside are different than the traditional one. First, on ground floor, we have an open-air gallery, or it can be for advertisements as well. When moving up, we find reading room type 1. It's a two-story room open towards the core of the project. Type 2 is connected to room number 1 by spiral stairs. Some rooms are not meant for only reading, but more as an interactive space. However, the noise becomes less when we move up. And all the spaces inside the core are connected together and with other functions of the project. This room is for people who prefer to read in a silent area, so the noise here is the least, and a single glazing noise barrier is used in order to reduce it. Each room has its own distinct layout and height. Green seating areas as part of the open areas of the core. We have two theaters in the project, closed and open, and this is the open one. To show the location of each room clearly, this is the first part showing reading rooms and the gallery. And here we see other reading rooms and green areas green open areas as well. Each floor of the building has several functions for different ages and purposes. And this is an exterior shot for the open air gallery. And now for the core layers. The core consists of several layers like the structure, steel framing were used, beside post-tension slabs, green walls and the circulation layer, and different types of openings and shadings. The function of the project can be changed when changing the site and its needs. And in this site, there were problems such as urban sprawl and the neglectance of archaeological sites. So greenery, agriculture, and archaeological facilities were part of the project's adaptive functions. And this is a shot for the plants gallery from the inside. Also, sustainable techniques were used in the project, such as adding 2 rainwater collectors, integration between greenery and the building using hydroponic walls. And here we have a map that shows different types of plants and their distribution based on its type, color, height, and location. Use of natural light and ventilation through operable skylights, and as mentioned before, through natural wind paths. Vertical louvers and automated windows. Other techniques were also created to ensure that light is sufficient in all spaces. So we have 2 devices that were added inside the project. Indoor environmental quality was also studied, and specific type of glazing was used regarding the heat and the noise. Besides, climate protected loggia with single and double glazing. Thermal comfort quality and flooring heating system. And finally, the use of solar energy by adding solar tiles and solar collectors. This is a shot for the operable skylight. Opens during the summer, and then people can use the slide here as well. And this is a 3D model of the project showing its different levels and the integration with nature, and it's directed towards the best view. The project has 9 floors. Some levels do not align with the core levels, but they might be connected through other parts. In ground floor plan, we can see the path that link the project to the outside. This means to encourage all people to visit and to participate in the project's social and cultural activities. So it doesn't look like a prison, but an open area to all people. Rear facade of the project showing back routes and the galleries from the outside. And this is the main facade on a residential street showing the main entrance to the project. Top view showing other important functions such as the discussion room for improving cultural activities on site, offices, and galleries, and a full floor dedicated to children's socio-cultural activities, and other types of rooms. Different functions of the project and their relationship with the site and with each other, representing the first type in Jordan and hoping that the project made something towards solving the problem.